It's lovely to be back once again on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. Well, we're going to concentrate a lot on the domestic scene and we're going to look ahead to the World Cup. Lots of things to discuss. I'm excited because it's a new beginning once again. It's a new season for Sri Lanka and lots of possibilities in place. As usual, we got Farveez Maharoof here joining me to talk about what we have in store, and I'd like to start off with the Super Provincial tournament, which is about to happen. Now, 4 teams, Team Dambulla, there is Team Kandy, Team Colombo and Team Galle. We got Angelo Matthews captaining Team Dambulla, we got Dimut Karunaratne with Team Kandy, Chandimal in Colombo, and Lahiru Tirimana is standing in Team Galle as captain. What are your thoughts, first place, about a 4-team tournament? Because I always felt it's good to have a 5-team tournament.
And we always speak about it and we agreed. I think minimum
we
5.
Agree, but it's 4.
Some reason they're carrying on it. But I mean, looking at from the player's perspective, Roshan, I think it's an important series. We saw what Asant Rimel said about the World Cup selection. He did say that 10 to 11 players have been almost settled.
But are you, just tell me, if you were a selector, would you have 10 to 11 players? I mean, 6 or 7, yes, I would say is a certainty, but 10 to 11, it's more reputation, I think.
Yeah, I think sometimes when it comes to World Cup, the experience matters as well. So I understand what Asant is trying to do there. So I wouldn't disagree with him there. But the 5-6 players, this is where this tournament comes in handy. I mean, ideally, preparation-wise, it's not the greatest because we don't know our best 15. We've been struggling for a long time. But saying that, it's up to the players now. There are a few options, as we know, as we spoke about before, which is ideally suited to a tournament like this. I mean, batsmen, bowlers, spinners, whoever it is, and this is the stepping stone for a memorable World Cup.
Well, I'm kind of hoping it will be the case, but one of the, I would say, it's not controversial, but one of the talking points has been Lasith Malinga. Now, he's gone to play in the IPL, and he's expected to come in and play in this Super Provincial tournament. But how sure are you about his participation?
I think he will. I think he will. I mean, I saw his press release as well. I mean, once he plays the last IPL game, he will be flying back, and possibly he will not play the first game in the Super Provincial. Probably from the second game onwards, he will definitely play for it. I mean that shows his commitment towards Sri Lanka cricket. I mean, leaving the lucrative IPL and coming and playing domestic. I mean, for me, is a definite go for the World Cup, and it shows his commitment towards getting the players right, setting that tone as a senior player, being an example. So him being a senior pro, doing the right thing, I'm very happy about it. And it's not the greatest of situation. I mean, you let him, the cricket board lets him go, he wants to come back. A bit of controversy there, but all in all, I think the right decision is made.
Yeah, no doubt, it is the right decision, and I'm delighted that for once the cricket board and Lasith Malinga seem to be on the same page. Otherwise, it has always been a case of misunderstandings and whatever. Now, one of the things that the chief selector did say, and also many did say, was that this tournament is played in Dambulla, and this is that they are going to provide excellent surfaces for the tournament, and the World Cup happens in June. Now, how much of a replication would the pitches in Dambulla and in this tournament be to pitches in England? I've heard contrasting views. Honestly, I've heard contrasting views. To me, England June is still cold, nips around a little bit, and green. But I've heard different stories. Tell me about it.
I wouldn't agree there, Roshan.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah,
I'm saying what I heard.
Yeah, June generally.
Yeah.
I mean, they say, April, May definitely it seems, but by come June, the sun bakes down, and they say June, July, August.
Third week of June, yes. The longest day of the summer is third week of June.
Third week, maybe because of that. I mean, I remember 2016 when I played the last series in England. We played late May, early June, and the wickets were very flat, and there were almost scores of 200, 300s, and big scores were chased down. So I reckon comparing Dambulla and Kandy with a few of the England conditions, overhead conditions will be different for sure, because it's a heat wave going on at the moment, so it'll be different. But pitches wise, I can understand it'll be fresh, because Dambulla and Hambantota, we don't use those grounds that much. So 22 yards will be fresh, good bounce, nice carry through. Batsman will enjoy, and with the weather breaking down so hard, I mean the outfields will be lightning fast, so a lot of runs to be taken. I mean, the conditions won't be similar, but the wickets will be a bit similar, but overhead conditions will be totally different.
Well, talking about enjoying, I can tell you that you can enjoy the Super Provincial Tournament on ThePapare.com. The one-day Super Provincial Tournament will be covered and you can catch all the action. Now, looking ahead to the World Cup, we spoke about the Provincial Tournament, we spoke about players to be picked, and when you look at what Sri Lanka have in store before the World Cup, 2 ODIs against Scotland, that happens on the 18th and 21st May, then 2 warm-up games against South Africa and Australia, 24th and 27th of May. Now, just 4 games to go. Now, I can't ask you the question whether it's adequate, because no option.
Yeah.
What can Sri Lanka make out of this?
I think it will be a good warm-up, definitely. Especially the 2 one-days in Scotland, which will be international approval. So the stats will definitely go to the end of the career. So I think all the guys will be up for it. And I remember we lost to Scotland in a practice game a few years back. So I think 4 games before the World Cup, I think it's good enough to get your combinations right and get the players fresh before the first game against New Zealand. So going forward, before they go to Scotland, I think there is a 2-week camp. So that's going to be important as well. So I'm hearing there are going to be some boot camps where players all stay together, different training, just to come in terms with getting that the team environment going. So I reckon SLC has done a brilliant job in organizing all those, which the media will get to know very soon.
Right. Now, you spoke about the team selection for the World Cup, and you said almost 10 or 11 players are virtual certainties. Yep. Now, my question is, we've been told that Asela Gunaratne and Dasun Shanaka are injured and out.
Yeah.
And you're also talking about 10 or 11 players who are near certainties. So how would this affect the team? No Shanaka now. Shanaka is one guy who will be very useful in the one-day game. Asela Gunaratne has been a winner. So both out of the equation, being all-rounders. So considering they being out, who are the automatic choices, and how would it impact the balance?
So many choices. I mean, like, let's say Isrudan, the way he played in South Africa, I mean, he's a certainly for sure in my own eyes. But Dasun Shanaka and Asela, I think if they had played provincial, the provincial tournament, have done well, they would have definitely had a big claim, because Asela Gunaratne has spoken a lot, and we know Dasun Shanaka what he can do as well. So I think these are bad luck for them as bad luck for Sri Lanka cricket both. I mean, injuries are part and parcel of the game, so you can't deny all those. But these 2 guys have played and done well, would have had a big claim.
Absolutely. I think in England, the guys we're talking about are so useful. The type of bowlers they are, seam 3, 4, 5, 6 overs.
Yep.
I watched him at Durham. Man, he was swinging. He was swinging, and he was outstanding in Durham. So, well, as he says, it's a big loss. But now the squad has to be announced on the 15th of April. In fact, it has to be finalized before the 15th of April. Has to be announced by the 23rd of April. The big question is, you said that there is going to be a camp and everything else, but do you think that's enough? Being a World Cup, being an ex-World Cup player, do you think that's enough?
I reckon looking at the form, going into the provincial tournament in the international series is not the ideal. We lost 3 one-days in New Zealand, 5 in South Africa, so altogether 8. More confidence-wise, it will be dent. Must be very low. But saying that, historically in World Cups, in world events, we have always done well. So I'm banking on that. Even the Champions Trophy to the World Cups, we've always done well when the chips are down. So, taking that into consideration, I'm just hoping that we'll pull a rabbit out of the bag.
Well, imagine if that happens. Oh, that will be wonderful. I think all Sri Lankans will be sharing your sentiments.
Definitely.
I certainly do. I am looking forward to it. I'm excited. And I'm hoping that what Farveez just said would be the way the Sri Lankans would go in the World Cup. Now, getting closer home, and that is the Singer Under-19 Division 1 tournament. Semi-finals, Nalanda St. Thomas's, St. Sebastian's and St. Joseph's. Do you think this reflects the strengths of the teams at Under-19 level? I know Richmond is a good side, Royal is a decent side, St. Peter's aren't a bad side at all. So how do you see this?
I think Richmond is in the one-day finals, so they have done pretty well in the one-day format. But I mean, deservedly so, the top 4 teams, Nalanda, St. Thomas's, St. Sebastian and St. Joseph's, was 4 very strong teams who bat deep in all those four lineups. So, you know, 2 good games coming up, and with this heat, you know, the wickets will be flatter, and the bonus point will take them to a final berth. So, whoever bats first, let's say they batted for 5 sessions. That's what St. Thomas did against Mind in the quarterfinals. They batted out the almost entire game and easily put Mind out. So similarly, the team batting first in both these games will have a big say in batting long and you know, pushing the opponents out of the.
I am a big fan of bonus points, Maha. You know why?
Same here.
Because you just force batsmen to score runs and bowlers to get wickets. You got to do something. So this is brilliant. This is just the foundation you need when you're looking to build a player. Anyway, let's see the under-19 Division 2, Royal College versus Kaluthara Vidyalaya. What's gone wrong with Royal College? Is this Royal Colombo? I'm asking you.
My good friend Mubarak is there, Jehan is the coach. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if they win this.
I can tell you, I can tell you. I mean, I'm not criticizing anybody, but just demoting Royal College to the Division 2 because of an administrative error.
That's massive.
It's massive. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's important that you apply the rules, but school cricket is the cradle, and you cannot have
especially a school like Royal College.
And Royal with all the facilities they have. It's like taking cricket away from the SSC and saying you go and play in Division 2 and Division 3 with all those facilities.
Silly mistake happened, what, 3 years ago?
It can happen.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a human error. Well, anyway, we are not going to debate that, but I'm only going to say that I think it's a wrong decision. But anyway, it's happened. I hope Royal will be back where they rightfully belong. And the winner will meet St. Anthony's Katugastura in the final, and the finalists will be promoted. So that's good news. I'm hoping that the Royalists, well, it's not fair to say the Anthonians deserve to be there too, but I think the Royalists
definitely
needs to be there. Anyway, that's as far as school cricket is concerned. Now, England's women's tour of Sri Lanka. Should we talk about it?
Whitewash, isn't it?
Unfortunately, lost the 3-match ODI series and the T20 series. What's wrong with ladies cricket in Sri Lanka? Because, you know, if you look at the other countries, Maha, ladies cricket has actually moved forward, you know, moved upward. Why is Sri Lanka stagnating? You know, any reason?
The only reason I can think of is Roshan, the consistency. We speak about even the men's team sometimes consistency lacks. That's why with the ladies team, they you know, I mean, I remember against India in Sri Lanka, they did really well and we were praising them, and suddenly all of a sudden they're nowhere to be seen, not a single match is won.
Do you know what has happened now? Do you know the predicament? Now they must qualify for the 2021 World Cup, and they got to play a qualifier. That's because they are not one of the top 5 teams in the world. So, I mean, at a time, white ball cricket, either in the men's format or the ladies format, just doesn't seem to be taking off for Sri Lanka.
No, not at all. I mean, definitely we are not deserved to be in the top 5 for sure, the way we are playing so inconsistent. So, a lot of work to be done. I know the ladies cricket island-wide has been spread. A lot of ladies and girls play cricket, but try and getting those talents into system and you know, making them go through high performance training. I think that's a way forward.
What about money? Do you think they have enough money?
I think they are looked after, but don't think that it's good enough to be a professional. But still something they get on. So I think it's vice versa. I mean, they have to start well. I mean, start doing well so that they could ask probably a bit of more.
Chicken and the egg. You can't have both. You can have only one. So how do you get that one? First do one correctly, then you get the other one. Anyway, well, that's where the ladies cricket is at the moment, and it is almost, we are at the end of the show. So we've touched on the World Cup, we touched on the provincial, we touched on the under-19, then the ladies cricket, and now it's time to ask you the question. Now the question of the week is, who scored Sri Lanka's first century in a World Cup? Interesting question. I'm kind of thinking it didn't happen in 75.
79?
Not in 79, no. I don't think there was 183. Maybe it has to be in 92. I don't think 87 also. So anyway, we're giving you clues just in case you're interested. So the question is, who scored Sri Lanka's first century in a World Cup? Well, last week we asked you the question, who was the runner-up in the first Cricket World Cup? And the answer was Australia, 1975. That was a classic game. Just recently, I watched some of the YouTube videos where Australia lost by 17 runs. Would you believe it? That the crowd invaded. And Thompson and Lilly were running and
just
running.
like our big matches.
They were running. They were trying to run 17 runs off that ball and they couldn't. So it was interesting. It was a great game. West Indies, I think, got 290 something. Australia got to 273. And congratulations, Pasindu Jayasinghe. You are the winner. So that's it on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. We hope you enjoyed it. See you again very soon. Until we see you, Farveez Maharoof and I say goodbye.